now that we've seen what JSON is and how it's formatted, let's pull some into our sketch dynamically from the web and do something with it, right? So the way that this works is there's a function called load JSON, and JSON is capitalized. It accepts a couple of different arguments, but the one that's really important is the URL of where the JSON resides. So here you can see I've got this in preload. This way, again, just like when I talked about in the video with images, this way the content loads before I actually try to do anything else in my sketch. So I want to save it into this variable called data, and then I can go and use it wherever. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to just print it out and make sure that I've got everything the where I want it. So again, I'm taking this URL right here, which is this is my API. All right, this is the called the endpoint. So now when I run this, I should see this will load it. It'll store it inside of the variable, and then it'll print it out. And instead, I see a shit ton of errors. And the reason for this has to do with web security. And you'll need to be very careful and pay attention to what kind of URL you're loading into your sketch before something works. And you'll see that in the P5 console, it says can't read property split of undefined. That's not very helpful. And then down here, it says there's a problem loading your JSON file. That's helpful, right? Check to see if the file path is correct, hosting the file online or running a local server. So the problem here is it doesn't have anything to do with loading the file. I know that this file, so I can just copy this URL and open up a browser window, and I can see that it works, right? But if I look over inside of the web console for the browser itself, I can get a lot more information here. And the very first thing that it says is that there's mixed content. The page that that my sketch is on was loaded over HTTPS, so it was loaded over a secure connection. But then it requested an insecure resource. And so we can see here the API for OpenNotify is HTTP. So these are web protocols. HTTP is hypertext protocol, and HTTPS is the secure hypertext protocol. So browsers now really restrict what you can load from one page into another for security reasons. You don't want somebody loading something from an insecure site into maybe a place where you're entering credit card information or personal data. So this then becomes a little bit of a hassle if you're trying to just get something into your sketch and it's from an unsecured site. Now, unsecure doesn't mean that it's dangerous necessarily. It just means that the developer either doesn't have the resources or the reason to protect it from snooping, right? And that's what secure means. It basically means that it's encrypted and people can't access it as it traverses across the inner tubes. So this is that you can see right here, not secure, right? I don't know if it's zooming in appropriately for you or not, but on my screen it's zoomed in real big. It says not secure, right? But this is secure. It's got like the little lock there. So how do I get around this? Well, this specific thing is called a cross-origin domain security issue. And there are a number of services that have popped up to help get around it. And it's usually called CORS, C-O-R-S. And so you can look for a CORS proxy. And what a CORS proxy does is it takes an insecure file and then routes it through a secure service so that your sketch or whatever running on a secure site can then access that content. So the one that I'm going to use is from this site, yacdn.org, yet another CDN. And you can see this is how this is how it works. It operates as a content distribution network where it will load an insecure file once every 24 hours when you request it, and then it'll just keep it in cache. So they don't need to keep on reloading things. You can, if you want to, you can force it to do something. This is what I meant by passing arguments, but that's for another video. This is all that we want right here because we know that this isn't going to change that frequently. So you can see right here, the way that you access this is you prepend your URL with this one. So the actual path that we're going to enter, and I'll show you how this works here. I'm just going to paste it up here, and now this is my new URL. Oh, and I need to, it didn't add in, I also need to add in the HTTP:// there we go. Now we can see I've got my JSON information, but also we can see here, because of this little lock, this is secure. So I can take this URL, which is routing this through this, and if I swap out the URL here and run it, we can see down here, we've got data coming out inside of our console, right? So same sort of thing that we saw before when I just manually loaded this information up here. Number of people, messages, success. So now we've got the data inside of our sketch. Now we can use it. Now, if you're using a URL that already has HTTPS in front of it, you don't need to worry about this, right? It's only if you're using something that has HTTP. So in the next video, we'll actually get into using this stuff and displaying the names of the astronauts who are currently circling the Earth. So come back for that.